Let's take a look at the next progression in our one-arm Flutterfly series. In our previous version, we had three pieces of equipment. We had blades, snorkel, and fins. So just like with any progression, we will let some things go slowly. So here, no blades. So the blades really allowed us to have a great surface area here along the palm, and the forearm, to really be able to feel this catch movement that's being performed, and to really kind of highlight where we want the focus point of the water to be as we're grabbing the water. Now we either expect or want our athletes to be able to do this on their own. So let's go over the key points of this drill and what we look for from our athletes. Let's start out with the kick. So here we look for the feet to be pointed. We see here with our fins that our athlete does have those feet pointed, which is absolutely what we want to see. Now the kick itself here is going to be a flutter kick. We'd like to see a moderate level flutter kick. However, we want to really see the focus of the movement really being here kind of on the arms, where the kick is going to be a little bit more complementary. However, we still want to make sure that we're going to be emphasizing all of the points of our flutter kick that we have previously emphasized. And so let's go over some of those things just as a refresher. Now, we don't want the legs to be this straight as we're kicking, because the legs will burn out and give out as we're moving through the water. We want to make sure that we are having a degree of what we would say is just a kind of a natural knee bend as we are traveling through the water. How much is natural? And that's a great question. So that's going to be an answer that's going to be very dependent upon each athlete. Here, let's just take a look at what we would say is excessive. Anything approaching really remotely 90 degrees, especially this much out of the water, would be way too much. So if we were kicking here like this, we'd just be kicking a lot of air, and air doesn't really move us through the water. The same would kind of hold true here if we were under the body, just like this, where the knees are kind of drawn in, and we would see a lot of flexion with the knee going up and down, making a lot of contact with the water. However, we're not really going to be able to move through with a very strong kick. So what we kind of like to say for our athlete is, when they feel this foot rise up here at this point, then what we want to be able to do is really focus on kicking downward like an athlete, like you're going to be kicking a ball. And so that means that foot has got to get a little bit under the body right here, and then return up to the surface. So then you kind of see here this turbulence being created at the surface is what we want to really be able to see. So we kind of like to emphasize this with our athletes. We call this a thunder kick, a boiling water, or white water. Essentially, it all means the same thing, and you never know what cue will work for what athlete. So here we're also wearing a snorkel. In our next progression, we'll worry about taking the snorkel off to incorporate the timing of the breath. We really like athletes to be able to feel this movement very well before we introduce a complexity like the breath. Our non-stroking arm here is going to be up in front, staying in front of the shoulder. And then let's take a look at that left side. So here we'll go over what happens under the water on our underwater return view. Exit point, we'd like that hand to kind of come out somewhere along where the suit is being cut. Typically, we like to go a little bit more at the hip, but this would be definitely within an acceptable range for the athlete. And then as that hand here is coming out, that palm here is going to be facing behind us. That's something that we'd like to look for here as we're performing the drill. As the arm passes and starts to make a T here with the body, what we would like to see the hand do then is the palm now faces downward, relaxing that hand, taking any potential stress here off of that shoulder. And then landing here in front of the body. Before we go a little bit more on that landing, that recovery here, we want you to take definitely special notice of this. Think about keeping the hand or that arm nice and low to the surface. We're doing a great job here of that. That's something we really like to see. Here then what we want to see is the arm is landing in front of the shoulder. We like this for our age group, a more advanced age group, and our like senior level swimmers. Developmental swimmers, you're able to come a little bit outside the shoulder here as we're going through the water, which will be kind of what we would like to see. And then what we want to really focus on is when we're going through that landing position right here, stretch forward those arms, press that chest. We should feel these hips pop up a little bit. And then we would connect this with the dolphin kick, which we would do in a later progression of the stroke. And we just kind of keep repeating those points here. So we should kind of see the water here on that landing continue to kind of go a little bit forward. If you have a splash of water like this and that X forming, then that will tell you the athlete is not getting that head down quick enough. We want to really see that head get down before that arm makes contact with the water, so that way we can really travel really well through it. Here, just a quick ability to take a quick look at the kick. Feet here are pointing, which is great. So here, look at this foot, how it's at the highest point. We really, again, want to drive that down to be able to being under the body. So kind of look at the bubble stream right here and look at where we're under the body. Then what we want to be able to do is really focus, return that up here to get it up to the surface as we're going to be doing our kick. As we're going to be doing our return view, we're going to take a look again, just have a different perspective. Again, nice how low we are to the surface. And then that landing is perfect right on top of the shoulder right there. Have a good strong kick here behind us. And we just kind of keep moving through. Really, really nice movement right there by our athlete. Here we could stretch forward just a little bit more so that we kind of close up this gap that's created between the shoulder and kind of the ear right there. And that would be really achieved by, again, getting that good forward movement. So we go under the water, so let's take a look right here. So again, we're doing a great job right here. We're on top of that shoulder. Now at this point, slide forward, and then what we want to do is get the fingertips to get down. So kind of what we see right here, what we would like to see is the hand be right under the body. That's a really important be able to establish this power triangle movement that we want to be able to see out of our athletes. So here we have a big opportunity to kind of draw in and be a little bit deeper with that arm. Now we like a high elbow catch. However, here, this is going to be a little bit too high. So remember, athletes are going to be able to perform the drills to different ability levels. So it's really important that we're going to give the athletes continual feedback to how they're moving through the water. Overall here, if you found some great value out of this, be sure to drop a like and subscribe. It really helps us out.